Oh, what's up? Welcome to the Unofficial Tedeschi Trucks Podcast. This is episode number 209. I am Adam Choit. To follow this show, it's at Tedeschi Trucks Podcast. On Instagram, please like, subscribe on whatever platform you listen to podcasts on. I'll definitely be putting out an audio version of this soon. Patreon.com/TTB Podcast if you want to support. That's patreon.com/TTB Podcast. Thank you, Kathleen, Stacy, Troy, Daniel, Mariah, Bo, Marion, for the support. I definitely appreciate that. Weedside and Woodside, if you're in the area for all your THC needs, great dispensary. Randy, of course, is a supporter of the show. Randy, if you're watching, definitely come on here and join. I know you did you were helping with the Long Island Kofi Day of Service today, and we'll get into all of that momentarily. We have Mark representing Detroit, first time around the show, and we got Kirka returning from Seattle, and let's bring them in. What's up, guys?
Hey, yeah.
What is happening?
Man, what a day.
What a day is right.
That is an understatement.
Mark, tell me, I want to hear, because you're good to connect with you, of course. Tell me how did you even get connected to TTB originally? What's your sort of TTB origin story?
So when I was like 12 years old, I was growing up in Chicago, and my dad took me to see Susan Tedeschi at this place called Ravinia, which is like this amazing outdoor venue. She was super new. It was like back when she got nominated for the Grammy of Best New Artist. I'm like, who is this? This is wild. And then about, 2010, my dad and I went to see Crossroads Guitar Festival in Chicago, and they came out as, Soul Stew Revival, filling in for the Allman Brothers. And then once they put out Revelator, I haven't missed a tour in Detroit since. And this past September 10th, I sat the furthest I've ever sat back, and it was like 20 rows. And it was, yeah, I have problems. I will spend a mortgage payment on these shows. It's terrifying. But yeah, no, it's ever since that first show in like early 2000s, it has been nonstop for me, just following her and Derek. So yeah, absolutely incredible.
So you discovered Susan first in the early 2000s?
Yep.
Are you a musician? Were you a musician? Do you play any instruments or anything like that?
No, I can't carry a tune in a bucket. My kids think it's hilarious when I try and sing because it's awful. But I was raised on British Invasion, Delta blues, Chicago blues. The people I have seen, my dad and I have this vice. We will go see concerts upon concerts upon concerts. I wrote a list a couple weeks ago of every concert I've ever seen, and it covers an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper.
Wow. Yes. And where does TTB stand? I heard Detroit since 2011 or whatever. So that's at least 10, 15 shows right there. So you're getting you see TTB a handful of times over the year.
The most viewed artist I have ever seen is Buddy Guy.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
Going to Chicago to see Buddy Guy. Is that
and I've seen him a couple times since I moved back to Detroit, but I have seen him, I think my list says 14, 15 times maybe. Yeah, it's unbelievable. He's incredible.
And TTB, I'm guessing, is right up there, because TTB, as I've talked about him millions of times, is that it's like the culmination might not be the right words, but it's like you're getting some Buddy Guy, you're getting some BB King, you're getting British Invasion music, you're getting that Delta music, you're getting world music and jazz, like with TTB, with this band, with all these shows. So it's such a great cross section of all these genres and artists coming together, I feel like.
Well, and I think you're right too. Like when I started dating my girlfriend, she wasn't familiar with them, and so we have a convert. But what I think is absolutely incredible across every show I've ever seen, I've never seen the same set list twice. I've rarely seen a song performed. I mean, maybe other than Midnight in Harlem, and I'll never pass that up. It's one of the best live versions I've ever seen in my life. But you rarely see the same song 2 tours in a row at the same venue. It's wild how they're so tight and they have such a repertoire. It's like you go in and every show is a different experience. I about lost my mind on the 10th when they played Whipping Post. Lost it. Completely lost it. up in my chair, singing along, dancing. Oh yeah, I was a kid in a candy shop.
I bet. How are you doing, Kirka? How are you holding up in Seattle?
Man, it's fantastic. You know, we're coming to the end of 3 months of summertime here, so we're on the cusp of 9 months of rain. So it's been it's been a really fun summer. Lots of music happening out here. You know, and I moved out from Atlanta 6 years ago. I thought I was moving to a musical wasteland, but man, Seattle has just been a great musical home. It just it's really been a good time, man. It's like, Adam, what have you been up to?
Oh, I've been good, keeping busy. It's actually, I feel like it's warmer in some of the other parts of the country compared to Southern California today. It wasn't too bad in LA, but I seeing emails and posts that some of you guys were sweating it out, in various parts of the country, volunteering. But sounds like a great productive day in remembrance of Kofi and celebrating his life and his legacy. Where should we start? Why don't you start, Mark? Tell me about because we were all the group leaders, I believe, for Detroit, Seattle, Los Angeles. So tell me about your day.
It was an interesting concept. So at Forgotten Harvest, where we were, it is a 100% donation only food pantry in Detroit. There's no purchasing. Everything that is given is completely donated by grocery stores, other vendors, businesses, things of that nature. And the first hour was spent, helping restock their little mobile pantry, this like 35-foot trailer. And then starting at 9 o'clock, families would come in. Every 15 minutes, there was a group of at least 4 of them that would come in, and we would help them shop through there. So instead of just preparing meals or boxing stuff up, we got that personal one-on-one connection with each of these families for the entire experience. So we helped stock, but then also got to see in real time the impact we made, which was absolutely incredible. I think if we do the basic math, each cart was about 50 pounds worth of food times 50 carts. And we were supposed to be there till 11, and we ended up just staying, all of us, until noon, just because we wanted to help them. So we gave them an extra hour of our time. Over 2,000 pounds of food just given away, but like actually spending the time to talk to these people and have conversations and understand what people are going through and make new friends. I was approached by one of the clients who volunteers their time at another location to go help out there. One of our other volunteers today, Doug, has said he wants to sign up when he's got a free Friday. My girlfriend Annika, she may go in 2 weeks and help out again. So we have this lasting impact. And they do it in 2 shifts. We helped them right up to their lunch break, and then they were going to have another shift of people coming in at 1 to help again. But that real time impact, seeing what you were doing in the moment, I think is the most impressive and value added thing that we saw today, is just making that connection with those people.
No, that's great. That's great to hear. Yeah, just it's such a rewarding experience, and a great way to spend your time and establish those relationships with the location and the people you're working with. Even working last year, in the last couple of years, with the West Side Food Bank in Los Angeles, I ended up going back again because I can just sign up. I know how it works. You feel more comfortable. It makes it easier to go back the second, third time and want to bring other people with you. And it's great that TTB has pushed us in this direction. Because of them, I have a connection to Mr. Holland's Opus Foundation, where I helped, and West Side Food Bank, and now the the Angel Food place where we were today volunteering. So it's cool. Tell me about your day, Kirka.
And we went to a place called Food Lifeline. It's the next step up. I volunteer at a regular food bank like you went to today. And yeah, man, it's so cool to connect with with the actual people who need the help and they're actually doing the work. We were in a fairly large facility that handles all of Western Washington. And our jobs today was basically just taking these huge, they call them gaylords. Those things like when you go to the grocery store, you see pumpkins and watermelons in. Well, those were full of apples and full of bok choy, and we broke it down to go to the food banks that actually distribute the stuff. And that's a picture of the 8 of us that were there volunteering today. It was a fun group of people. Everybody was kind of, like you said, man, it's like we didn't really know what to expect at the very beginning, and they made us feel at home. And there was actually another group there. There was a bank there, and we were all working together. That's the Gaylord full of apples that we were checking to make sure we pulled out all the bad ones so they didn't go down, downstream or anything. And
Get into that momentarily. Yeah.
so
that's a big ass box of apples.
and we did 7 of those today and 12 of those full of bok choy. Oh. Yeah, it's stuff you never think about, right? It's like, I guess you see that out in the orchards and stuff like that. But I know when I'm in the food bank, you're right. It's like, people are going in there, and our food bank is kind of a grocery line kind of thing, where we have about a dozen shelves where they bring their carts up and down and pick what they want. But when it comes to the produce, we have it in small little milk crates, so it's a little bit more manageable out there. But now I'm kind of seeing where all that comes from. It's like seeing this food lifeline that gets in, 50 of these, every season, and then distributes them all out through Western Washington. So it was fun having our group work together. We ended up changing up when we went to the bok choy, and we were with some of the bank that was there doing it. So we got even more friends out there. But it was really, just people, halfway through, Renee had sent in her playlist to Food Lifeline, and I'd brought in my little Bluetooth radio, speaker, hoping that they'd let us play it. And they said, no, you can't have it. It's a kind of clean area with food. And they have this Fender twin amplifier size speaker there that all of a sudden she starts cranking Midnight in Harlem. So we all just started laughing, and the people that were from the bank were like, well, who's this? And then we got to explain, our Kofi shirts and who Kofi was, and, why we follow the band and all those types of things. So it was really fun. And like you all, it's like everybody said, well, do we have to wait until next year to come back?
No, I mean, you don't have to. That's a rhetorical question, I assume. Yeah, no, we don't have to. I mean, we could even go back wearing our Kofi shirts as individuals, with our friends, with another organization. All these places always seem to need the help and definitely appreciate it. And that was definitely some of my experience too. And our experience was like, oh, who's Kofi? What are the shirts? What's the band? Oh, you're a band and you're volunteering. Oh, that's cool. And there was a couple of other people there volunteering who weren't with Kofi either, and young people too. That's good to see too. Like young people who you might not expect to be the volunteering type, whatever they be. They should be out doing teenager things or whatever, but no, they're spending their time here and helping out. That's a great thing people did, and it's humbling, but it's also impressive. Like you were saying, just describe like these sort of massive operations, moving all these, food and packaged foods, meals, like whatever it is, like getting them to who needs them in the most efficient way possible. It's quite an operation, seeing just like the facilities where I was in the kitchen, and just like all the supplies they need and the space they need and the manpower they need and the efficiency. It had a real nice assembly line vibe to it, but in a good way. It felt good to be part of that. What are the if you want to tell us about, I can share some of those like notes or other images that you sent me, Kirka.
Yeah.
What is this? You had this and
so go back to the one with the little pieces of paper. So what I did was, since I only had 7 other people, I gave them these little pieces of paper and a pen, and I asked them to write down in one sentence, what made you come to Kofi Day of Service? And so it got them kind of thinking. We did this at the very beginning. It kind of got them thinking about why they were there, right? And it's like, my thought was, maybe that will make everybody even a little bit more aware of being there. Because once you're there, man, it's like, would you all agree? It's like all of a sudden you're just helping and time's going by. You're kind of not thinking about a whole lot of things. But, you know, for us, it's like, hopefully this got people thinking about it. And that made us start talking about, you know, about Kofi a bit. You know, we talked about,
That's great.
have y'all seen that video, Lest We Forget?
Yeah.
Man,
That doc, yeah.
That's 25 minutes of just powerful things about when they found out that Kofi had passed away back in 2019. And I guess they were in Washington, you know, at almost one of their, you know, up in DC, one of their home theaters. And they were getting ready to do their whole album release. And obviously that was one that Kofi had a lot to do with. He wrote, he arranged the strings, he played in keyboards, he did his flute. And then that same afternoon of that show, they found out Kofi had passed away. And so all this story is in that Lest We Forget video. So anybody that's listening, man, if you haven't seen it, it's a pretty powerful thing.
I haven't watched it in a while, admittedly. I had the director, creator of that way back. It was like episode 2 or 3, something like when I was just doing audio. But yeah, I need to rewatch that. It's definitely been a minute. It's maybe I'm emotionally avoiding it because it's probably it's heavy. I'm really looking at some of these messages. It's very cool.
They're beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful.
I knew Kofi, and every time I was with him, he always gave himself to everyone he met. Support food, love line in honor of Kofi Day of Service. This fed my soul today. That looked like an addendum somewhere or whatever. Someone added that after because I loved and love Kofi, and I love helping feed people healthy food, and people need more love and food. I volunteered to give back to the community. Anyone can give money, but donating your time is more tangible as you feel what you are doing matters, makes a difference. To carry on and share in the community that Kofi inspired with his passion, kindness, and joy. Well said. To give back and to meet more TTV fans. Well said by everyone. I mean, that basically covers it for sure.
And to think that I hit them all cold with that, right? They're coming in wondering what this whole thing is about. And I give them this little piece of paper. Well, I gave them the T-shirt too, so they'd feel a little obligated.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's business.
They're all supposed to know too. Like, what happened here?
Yeah. And so they all looked at me like, what? And I said, please put on your shirt too, because we're all going to have a group picture. And then go ahead and fill that out. I'll give you a minute. And I'll be darned, man. Like good music fans, they went ahead and did it.
You made a comment earlier about like seeing where this stuff comes from with food pantries and stuff, right? I think there's like this stigma with food pantries and people having a small amount of embarrassment to have to go and feeling like they don't have enough and things like that.
Right.
And, you know, like there's this thought, oh, food pantries, it's just a bunch of non-perishable canned goods. You may not know what you're getting, or rice or whatever. No, when you're sorting produce and you're looking through it to make sure that they're still getting good stuff, and dairy and chicken, and like the lady that was in charge for us today, like they had these big like 10-pound bags of frozen chicken, and each family got one. And she's like, normally we just get drumsticks, but some halal market in Dearborn gave us these leg quarters. This is insane chicken.
Wow.
This is like, the families were so excited and like engaged in what they were getting, because it wasn't just like, oh, you're getting a couple of things of rice or cereal or whatever. Like they were getting like full on meals out of this just this 35-foot trailer that we had stocked all day, and none of it was like close to expiring. It was all super long shelf, like shelf stable, things like that. It was wild. And then like you could walk in and you could decide, oh, well, I don't want this, but I'll do this instead. And you were able to make an impact just in real time. So when you, like you said, seeing what goes into this, and then seeing that the families are genuinely grateful for you taking the time to go through something as simple as produce, it is not super shelf stable, is really cool.
No, certainly that's great that you're able to like see your impact in real time in that way. And it was like on our end too today, it was definitely a lot of like healthy food and a lot of options. If you're a vegetarian, if you're kosher, if you want high protein, if you want low protein, if you're a diabetic, like everything was really, you know, custom made to whoever needs it. A lot of people just unable to shop for themselves, or you know, or need help in one way or another, and like really all over LA, and it's definitely been a time where it's needed in LA, and this place actually is moving into a bigger location. They were mentioning at some point, but they're definitely needed the help with even in the aftermath of the wildfires. It's just there's a lot going on in this city.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
No, but definitely seeing that real time impact of like what you guys were doing, the sorting like produce, and then seeing like the impact of somebody seeing, oh, there's actually an effort going on here, and like what we went through on the back end to then make sure you guys make the good choices of giving them quality produce. Like it's cool to see the full circle, and then it's on us, like you said, going back again and volunteering more, and then next year, like you built those relationships, and we can communicate with the community of what's going on and what we do, and you know, build that base a little more and make things even bigger and better next year, and just provide even more of an impact. Is just wild.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that whiteboard you got there, Adam. So that was here in Seattle. And you know, as we walked around, one of the volunteers, Linda Wolf, was reading it, and then I noticed she grabbed one of the markers, and I don't know if you can see it in red right there in the center, and it says Kofi, we will be back. You know, and amongst everybody else's notes, that's the note that she chose to write up there. And it's like, man, this is why people are so great, man. I'd have never thought of doing something that cool. But for her, it's like, yeah, it just seemed like the thing to put up there.
She's a cool spirit, a unique spirit unto herself. I asked you guys if you saw the Learning to Live Together documentary and one of its release. Mark, you said you hadn't seen it, right?
Yeah, no, I told Annika to find it already.
Yeah. And Kirka, had you seen it?
Yeah, I was actually on a flight and saw it. That was the in-flight movie.
I remember she was telling me they did like the little almost like meditation circle when they all got together. That was her. That was her organizing that meditation circle in the movie to sort of break the ice between all the TTB people, if I'm remembering correctly, and all the Mad Dogs people, and sort of get everyone sort of comfortable with each other. So they did like a circle, drum circle, or a little I forget exactly what it was, but she was definitely she spearheaded that. So she's super cool, and definitely recommend checking out her photo work, and of course being the photographer for the original Mad Dogs, which is super cool. And we were playing the playlist where we were as well, for sure. This Is Us, Project Angel Food. Only 6 of us, but we put in work. We did a good job.
We had a whopping 4 because it was such a small window of time and spaces available because of the size of the trailer. And like I said in my email, there were some hiccups. I guess originally there was a spot held for like 8 or whatever, and then there was some miscommunication. And Renee, being Renee, pivoted amazing and was able to get us to get this slot. And she's like, I was in Columbus playing baseball, and she calls me. And she's like, it's like 8 in the morning. We'll see what we can do. I'm like, hey, we're going to make it work. Come hell or high water, we're going to make this work. And then like a week before the event, she's like, last minute, I found a 4th person to round it out. We're going to make this happen. Let me know if everybody shows up. But yeah, we only had 4. And, that impact, even with a small amount of people, it is amazing what you can do with just a couple people.
And people are so thankful.
You get into the groove, you get into the mode when you're doing whatever task it is, and then you're switching to another task, but you're also able to socialize a little bit and talk to people. It's just a fun thing all in all. And before you know it, you got 1,700 to 1,900 meals. They will have an exact number in the next day or so. Thank you, Renee. Of course, Renee Pfeffer, who spearheaded all this. Just an insane amount of work. I can't imagine what her inboxes and emails and phone calls and texts and everything must be looking like for the last days, weeks, months leading up to this. But such an amazing thing, and it's expanded. You could see the sweat on. So we shot this afterwards. We were sweating in the kitchen for sure.
Wow.
But a good work all around.
Oh, look at
Making
that fancy paper, plastic apron. That's amazing.
We were fancy here.
Oh, they were
Okay,
working with actual meat.
Oh yeah.
He
Hi,
was
this is
working with me.
Monica.
We were boxing up.
Photos now.
There you
No,
go.
that was-
Hello.
That's wild. That's a lot going on. Holy prep.
Pasta.
That's really
Getting
cool.
pasta.
That's wild.
Yeah, we were in a full-on kitchen here.
Yeah, I didn't email you any of my photos, but I mean, I took a couple. I mean, we were literally in a 35-foot trailer with like those metal racks, like those metal storage racks you see on both sides, with like an aisle wide enough for like one of those tiny little shopping carts, and that was it. And just down stocking, walking people through. It was so cool.
That'd be me.
A
That'd be me.
service selfie.
That's right. Right. No, we done. It was a cool experience. Everyone was very, very welcoming there. Quite an operation. Just impressive. This wasn't how many? I want to like read off all the cities. It was.
I think she said 25. 25 now, right?
Something
I'm
like
gonna
that.
share the screen here. Yeah, incredible. For sure here. Atlanta, Austin, Boca, Boston, Buffalo, Charlotte, Chicago, Denver, Detroit, Fort Wayne, Hillside, New Jersey, Jacksonville, Florida, LA, Long Island, Nashville, New York City, Philly, Purchase, New York, Richmond, Virginia, San Rafael, California, Seattle, St. Louis, Staunton, Virginia, Vista, California, and Washington, D.C. That is wild.
That's powerful. I mean, it is all encompassing across the nation.
Yeah, super cool. And TTB also adopted a school in Jacksonville. I don't know if you guys saw that.
But I don't know if you guys followed the email threads or whatnot, but I know she mentioned it on the call the other night. Like Ephraim was in Austin, I think today.
Yeah, Ephraim.
But yeah, but we haven't seen outside of Gabe like where anybody else was. I'm excited to even see those photos, to see them pitch it in and doing their thing.
I don't know if Derek and Susan made it to any of the events today. I think something may have come up for them. I was told. I don't want to confirm that until I guess it's a thing. But I don't know if the two of them were able to do anything. I'm sure they're going to do something in one form or another at some point. They don't owe anyone anything, obviously, in that regard.
And like they said the other day, they were gassed at the end of the weekend from the last. I mean, they had been going nonstop all summer. So yeah, no, I mean, it's just, yeah, it's cool that like you can see it growing year to year.
Yeah, there were some. I'm spreading rumors, but there was some interest in potentially some international cities. I did hear as well being added at some point. That may be too ambitious for the time being, but something to look forward to. Yeah, I feel like it's really wherever people want to like bring it to. Like this was both of yours first times doing it, right?
Yep.
That's so cool that you guys I guess volunteered to organize, not just volunteer your time, not just volunteer to be a group leader, but actually help find the locations, I assume, and coordinate, like have it, from not being in existence in the city to now it's a thing. And that's cool. Maybe you guys just started a traditions that will be going for decades and decades in some regard.
I think that's no, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, it's like I've done it the past 2 years, but it wasn't official. After seeing those 5 shows last year in the Pacific Northwest, I was wearing my Kofi shirt, so I met a lot of people at all those shows. And so I was talking about we were going to do something on KDOS Day, and they gave me their contact number and everything. And so we just kind of gang tackled a park that's in kind of a bad area. One of us drove by it. We just saw a bunch of trash in it. Looks like the monkey bars and everything had these rotting pieces of wood with a piece of the bar in the middle. So one of the guys was a carpenter, so he helped repair those, and then we all cleaned up that whole park and then just left. And it was
That's great.
yeah,
That's
and then,
amazing.
and that's what got me thinking a lot more about all this. It's like you all were talking about doing it more than just around his birthday.
Yeah.
But
What?
there's people that don't have these official KDOSs in their area. They can go out and do things. Just get people to just meet some friends somewhere.
Yeah, no doubt. It's a great social outing, to be honest with you. There's a lot of like selfish reasons I
Yeah.
feel like to volunteer. It's fun. You meet people. You're listening to music. You're connecting. You can even hang out afterwards. Before you're making new friends. It's just like such an everyone wins thing.
And it's not like there's a lack of a following. Like if you look at the tour poster come out and see where they're going to be across the nation, there's always like if not sold out, damn near close to sold out show.
Yeah.
So even if you're in BFE Montana, there's a potential for a group there that would do something like this. This is a powerful movement of just service across the nation, just even for one day, that I think is pretty cool to see. Like I had just, after the last 2 years, I was like, this would be cool to do in Detroit. It's like, oh, hey, reach out to Renee. And then over the last year, it's like, oh, what are we going to do? Okay. And then she found the place and I'm like, okay, let me see my contacts and see what we can do. And, it was cool to watch it all come together.
How many seasons is going to be in next year? We'll see.
Right. Let's shoot for 30 now.
Yeah, it's such a special community with this band and with these fans. Not every I always ask this question: how does this compare, I guess, to other fan bases in terms of the community experience, the how much we value great music? I think this is just a totally unique thing. It seems like based on everyone who I talk to who has some more experience with like being ingrained in other fan bases. There's other fan bases that have, of bands that have big followings, dedicated followings, the Fish and Pearl Jam and whoever, whatever bands have these big followings and are able to sustain, playing, the music they want to over the years. But I think this TTB is just this unique thing unto itself. Like just the music, it draws you in, and they open doors to us. And I feel like not just introducing us to new music, whether they're covering songs or whether it's artists, that they're championing on the road with them. It's also through like introducing us to like volunteering and all these like places and getting us out of our apartments and houses and going to like help other people, inspiring us to do that, even if it's just the one time. But I think it's more than that. It's definitely like the relationships that we build with each other. I think that or it's part of one of the coolest things about it.
Well,
I'm rambling.
Starts with the band.
Yeah, and I think they're right. Like you mentioned Fish and things like that, and then there's the Dead and other things like with the TTB shows, like we were talking earlier, like all the covers and things they do, like they're blending all those communities in this same community. So you can go to a show and you're going to run into a Deadhead, you're going to run into a Fish fan, you're going to run into anybody, and no matter what their musical fan background is, you're going to find a common ground because of this band.
Yeah, they cover they cover so many genres, but I feel like we're like lucky, and it's so cool that we get this like tight-knit sort of community and sort of this intimate access to the band on multiple levels. I feel like we're all just a degree of separation from someone in the crew, someone in the band. Everyone's kind of rubbed shoulders and said hello and gotten a picture, gotten a slide, whatever. Over the years, had a couple of words with Derek or Susan or one of the other 10 members in the band. But at the same time, the music they play, it's like, okay, we're listening to like Jimi Hendrix of today. Like Derek is a legend and Susan is Janice, all these Bonnie Raitt, she's right up there with all these legends, and as is this band. Like this band moves me in the same way that any of the great rock and roll British invasion music that I've ever heard in my life does. You know, it's the same, you know, it's that same sort of feeling. Like no one does Allman Brothers covers in the way TTB does and brings you into a whole nother, you know, they create a whole atmosphere with their music. So I think, I don't know, it's the music carries us all through, I feel like, in some regard.
But you just think of everything that they give back, you know. I mean, you know, Kebbi going out and doing the things at nearby schools and stuff in a lot of cities that he's going to.
He does that impromptu. I've had enough conversations where I feel like it's sorry not to interrupt you, but like just hearing from people talk about him and following him, like what he likes to do is just like he'll go to a city the day before the day when it gets there. Hey, is there kids? Is there a school where I can go help out and volunteer in the morning and just talk music and just hang out? And he loves volunteering his time, mentoring the youth. And also that man will play anywhere, anytime, and with any other artist. It seems like I remember talking to him with like flatbed trucks and stuff. He'd be playing like block part. Like he's a cool spirit too. Such a special band. Go on, what were you saying, Kirka?
Yeah, you know, I mean, just all the stuff that he does. And the last time I talked to Gabe a little bit, I was wearing a Kofi shirt. Right. And so Gabe replaced Kofi. So I've always kind of wondered what he ever thought of that. And so he turned around, he looks me in the face and then looks down at my shirt and goes, yeah. I go, hey, man, I saw you at a house party up here in Seattle back in November. And that kind of broke the ice a little bit. And so that, you know, I don't know what he really meant by that looking around, but it did make me think. It's like, I wonder what he thinks about people that love Kofi. Do they love him? Is he fitting in? Would you both agree he's fitting in really well?
It's been a while now. He's definitely found his groove. I think the one thing, like really with any of the members of the band, it's almost like you gotta make sure they all get fed. They all have to get their shine, their whatever, not just solo parts, you know, prominence within Tedeschi Truck's band, within the band. But I think he's definitely found his groove, and I think he fit in right away. But as a fan from afar, I think he brings something different to the band than Kofi, of course. Yeah. He brings his songwriting, his voice, his music, his sensibilities. Gabe himself is a very eclectic, diverse artist who I feel like you're getting Jerry Lee Lewis, you're getting psychedelic stuff, you're getting some Billy Joel sounds, Elton John sounds, classic piano sounds. I feel like he's very diverse with his skills and styles also, which fits right well with TTB. What were you going to say, Mark?
Oh, I think like along those same lines, one of the things that like really helped him solidify a place in the band, like you're saying, let everybody get fed, you know, have their solos. A few years back when they toured with Los Lobos and he was the opening, the first on the bill, and allowing him to showcase, you know, what he can do on his own with his band, I think went a long way in establishing that relationship. And, you know, even though there's this soft spot for what Kofi can do, and I think with Gabe and being able to do what he can with his voice and whatnot, it has allowed a little bit of freedom with some of the things that Susan can do with her voice. And I think you can still hearken back to what TTB was 10 years ago, but you can also see the evolution. And part of that is replacing Kofi with somebody that is comparable in talent and care for what the importance of their role is in that band. And maintaining that. They found the right piece to fit something that they lost that mattered so much.
Yeah. It's a different fit, but a fit nonetheless, a good fit, a great fit. Yeah, no, I caught a bunch of Gabe Dixon band opening for TTB when that was happening. That's one of my favorite, if not my favorite, opener for TTB, because in some regard, I feel like you're getting a little bit of TTB. Yeah. In addition to TTB in itself, because I associate Gabe with TTB at this point, you know, for the most part, a lot, of course. So like just hearing him play music, it's like I'm getting that part of TTB as well, if that makes any sense. But he has great songs, great songwriter, great voice, great range with his voice. This band is just crazy talented at every spot on the stage and every musician up there. That's like the most common thing for a newbie, I think, to say to another fan is like, oh, look how they're like awesome too. But she's an amazing singer also, and he's so like that's kind of what people don't realize. They're not used to that. I think a lot of people will go to a concert and you'll see a great artist or maybe a band, but a great artist, and then they have their backing band, their touring band. Not to diminish those artists, those musicians either. But with TTB, you're getting a really tight mix of 12 people in terms of just like how the shine, the music, how the sense of dynamics. Of course, then there's all the different combinations of lineups and whatnot that they'll use combinations of songs without horns, songs with horns, different vocal leads. Of course, Mike and Mark. I could talk about this band all day, probably.
They're going on a winter tour now. No.
They should.
I saw them in Chicago last year in January, and it was so freaking cold, and we were waiting outside the venue to get in, and everybody's just shivering. I've never seen a venue so small pile in 5,000 people so fast for a show in my entire life.
I think I did a recap of that. I wasn't there, of course, but I think I did a recap for that one because that cold rings a bell, and that's what I love to hear, like those little stories and anecdotes. Like this is I'm picturing it in my head, and as you tell me that, it makes me feel like I have a deeper experience as like a TTB fan. Oh, because I get without I'm like living vicariously, and Susan and the band, like she'll comment on the weather situation and if that's a factor, if it's raining outside that day, that may affect the set list. They got a bunch of songs that refer to rain that they've taken advantage of. So yeah, I mean, just go along with where the universe takes you. They're an organic band in that sense. Like we're kind of talking about how they evolve. They have a good sense of the world and their environment around them as well as they continue to evolve. They're great artists. I mean, I'm so moved by the music itself. You can almost forget like how great artists they are, in terms of like their
but I think that the artist comment, like that adds to it, that they can take the environment and everything else they have going on, and that adds to their set list or what they do or how they play. Like that makes them an artist, taking everything around you and adding it to that fan experience. It really matters.
Be interesting to see what the new album sounds like.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited.
I love all the new songs. 6. We have 6 new ones that they played.
Is that how many they played on that leg? Okay. 6
so far. The question is, what we were debating last episode a little bit was if they're going to do any more are going to come out, and will there be any more new music this year? Possibly. Is it possibly not? We'll see.
Maybe an EP or something would be cool.
Well, one more new song maybe.
Yeah.
Or is it going to be like an anthology, like the whole "I Am the Moon" sequence, like where there's like 2 or 3 albums that they release like right in succession?
I think some people are maybe guessing 2 big ones, maybe potentially, but we'll see. I'm not sure how much info is out about that, but yeah, what a great day all around. I'm sure more. I don't want to share people's private pictures that have been posted, just whatever. So I may share more photos and more stuff, and more stats are going to come out. I'll share that. I'm sure Renee's going to put together her infographic with all the statistics, and I'll share that and more photos. I'm sure the band is going to share some photos from the day, just because it's just been amazing. Not everything's been posted, even in the Facebook groups or even in the app or whatnot. So there's going to be like 25 cities, so we'll have images and so much content to dig into, and then continue to celebrate Kofi and his legacy and his music. And yeah, he was a special dude, special musician. I remember I went up to the stage one time. I think it was at the Greek Theater originally. Like after trying to get a set list, I did get a set list. He signed it. It's one of these right here. One of those 3 he signs, I think. But he was asking me, do you play guitar? Do you play instruments? And asking me if I play slide guitar. And I'm like, why are you asking me? Like he was talking to me like kind of like knew me. I definitely sensed that, and everyone else seemed to echo that about Kofi, that he just had a very friendly vibe to him. I didn't know him personally or anything other than just like, those couple interactions over the years. But I don't know. Did either of you guys have any interactions with Kofi, a relationship, whatever?
Did you, Mark?
No, other than like being on that side of the stage, I think 8 or 9 times. No, but just staring and watching the random one flute solo we would get every show. That we were talking about it today. Me and this guy Doug that was there is like, only at a TTB show, not even Jethro Tull, only at a TTB show can you get a flute solo to shut down the entire audience. But yeah, no, like, that was the closest interaction I got. Like, I think most of my time sitting at the shows, I'm on the Derek and Gabe side now, but the Derek and Kofi side of the stage. That's just where I park myself.
I was at a bunch of shows I tend to end up on that side. Well, now Derek's on the other side, but maybe you can see him better from that side. I don't know. I'm not an expert at this about the best place to park myself in the venue as close as you can get, maybe.
Yeah.
Some people say though also that not in the very front on the sides, but be like center a few rows up, center to the back of the back of the lowest section in the center.
Yeah, because you want to hear and you want to be able to see, right? And it's like, if you want to see a right-handed guitarist, you sit stage right, because you look at the way he's turned. If you sit on the other side, all you see is him from this side.
His back,
because you want to see him like what you're doing, it's like both him and Susan. So for me, it was always stage right, which is audience left.
Yeah,
but
gotta watch Gabe's speaker though. Gabe set up his.
You do, yeah. You have to come back a little further. But my story with Kofi is that back in 96, 97, I was president of the Georgia Allman Brothers Band Association. And so every September, matter of fact, there's one coming up next week, there's a weekend-long Allman Brothers related festival. All right. And so Dickie's played, Jack's played, Greg's played, Warren's played. It's getting to be a pretty big festival. I think they're at 25 or 26. But so Kirk West, who was the road manager for the Allman Brothers and knew everybody, he was in Macon. And he was helping us book shows for that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night. Well, Saturday, we ended up having Kofi play. And obviously, I had a little more access to him because I was president of the association and everything. And so we found ourselves right after sound check, we were talking by the stage, and then we were both just sitting there. Like somehow we had both just sat down and we're just having a chat, like you said, Adam, man, it's like, it seems like he's known you for years. But man, it's just something, I don't want to compare him to Buddha or any of that bullshit, but there's just something calming about him. There was just something that he had an inner peace, an inner glow, and the way he talked to you, the way he talked to everybody the same way, but it was with respect and with intelligence. And it's just such a special thing. And I saw that I hadn't seen that, lest we forget, until this morning, kind of getting ready for our Kofi Day of service. And I started hearing all that stuff again from different people, and then hearing it from you, it's like, brings back a lot of memories of those days to why he was. Why do we think about this dude over anybody else the way we do?
I think also maybe I appreciate you sharing all of that. That's great stuff. I feel like maybe the magic from his playing, that's not the only magical element. It was also his personality and his vibe, his energy, how he made other people feel. There's a magic in that as well, I feel like, and that's something just like you feel that just talking about him, and just like we're saying, like what is it that we're talking about this guy all these years later? It's that that energy that he just uplifted everyone like around him. It seems like just from being himself.
Mm-hmm.
I think it matters as like too, like when we're talking about a band and the things people talk about long term and over time. I mean, most people are talking about the singer or the main guitarist. We're talking about a keyboardist in the grand scheme of things here, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
this is the impact that somebody that is in a band this large, just I say it, quote unquote, just a keyboardist, the impact that that one person can make years later is really impressive. Not just for their musical impact, but for their community impact is really wild.
His albums were Revelator, and then made Up Mind, right? And he was on Let Me Get By, and he was on Signs as well. Signs was
Okay.
Signs was his last album. And if you think about some of the keyboard riffs and notes and parts that are on a lot of those songs, those are signature Kofi.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Kofi.
Don't forget the flute part. Idle win there.
And oh well, of course, yeah, the flute. That's the flute is the most Kofi thing. It's you can't pick up a flute in Tedeschi trucks without conjuring up thoughts of Kofi. It's an automatic dedication. Like whenever Kebbi picks up a flute, but you know I feel like the Bound for Glories and the Let Me Get Bys, and of course those keyboard parts in Midnight in Harlem, those are just quintessential Kofi. And just from talking to others and following this band, like it all came pretty naturally to him in a sort of magical way, even in the studio, where it would just be like, okay, your turn to do your part, Kofi. Do, 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 boop, 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 blah, blah, done. We're out. It's amazing. How did he do? What did he, how did that, how's that the perfect thing? And like, he had that sort of magical touch. And I think that magic, again, I think transcended or carried over, or whatever the term is, like it applied also to who he was as a person off the stage. That's sort of a magical human.
Yeah,
that's real magic to me. That's real magic to me. Is music is magic, and that human connection that makes others feel good. That's real magic. None of this rabbit out of a hat stuff. But go on.
Yeah, but no, I mean it's so true, because it's like they talk about him starting to play. His dad played the flute, so he learned at 6 years old. He started to learn how to play the flute, and they determined he was pitch perfect. Which I say that knowing, like, I know what the hell that means. I don't know what that means, but it sounds pretty good, right? I mean, at 6 years old, your pitch is perfect, and so he always had the proclivity, I think, to be able to play music. There was music always at home, and you know, Susan was talking about Midnight in Harlem, where he arranged all the strings, and there's so much that he wasn't playing that he helped arrange. It's like, it's hard to imagine that stuff. I mean, like
he did all the strings, all the arrangements and all the strings. That was done by Kofi on Signs. Yeah. I think there were, I think it was a quartet. I think they used a quartet they brought in for the string parts. Yes. And I forget how many songs they had strings on. At least 3 or 4 or 5 songs had some element of orchestral, whatever string, whatever we're gonna call it, part. And that added a special. That's just a special. My theory is that they don't play a ton of different Sign songs because it's like too Kofi related. It's too like, I don't know, it's too emotional. Some things are too emotional. What happened there? Where are we going? You're sideways, Kirka.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yep.
What's happening here?
No, I think
special effects.
I think I'm getting special.
Your camera's high.
That's obviously not me.
Cool. It's all good. It's been a long day for everyone.
Maybe that's a sign.
Yeah. Anyway, I appreciate the time, guys. I don't know if there's anything else we want. There you go. We want to cover or talk about, discuss. Anything about the day that I'm forgetting to mention? I think I might have to do a part 2 to this. We'll see, or at least talk
some of the other coast.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Also keep bothering everyone I know. Yeah, no, I definitely want to share more pictures and more stuff and share the stats and continue to share the sponsor the school, the Jacksonville school, getting music resources. They're a cool organization too. So, Mr. Allen's Opus Foundation, they do great work too. It's always the first thing to be cut, huh?
Yeah.
It's the arts, unfortunately.
Well, that's why it's so important for us to do things. It's like, it's either going to be there, it's not going to be there, but we can do things. So just sitting there talking about it, we actually got out and did something today.
Mhm.
Right. No, that's true. You don't always need to look for solutions, and when we work together, we can accomplish more faster. Not to throw cliches and say trite things, but true nonetheless. Good stuff, guys. Thank you again. Anything else? I appreciate it, Mark. I appreciate it, Kirka. Links to support all the Kofi things are in the description in the chat.
You too, man.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Like, subscribe. Thank you to the band. Thank you, Renee. Thank you to the crew. Thank you, everybody. Get more episodes soon. I'm sure we're going to talk more about this, but have a good night, everybody. And let's talk soon. Later. Peace, y'all.
Yeah.